Friday feedback. Friday feedback. Welcome back to the pod.
We're back.
We're back.
Kind of cult-like, a little bit.
Well, I've always had a dream to be
Cut.
a cult leader. I've always had a dream to be a cult leader, and we are bringing the doctrines of Phi to the audience. And Phi bless you.
Good lord. Good lord. Oh, we haven't debuted the sign of the monies.
Yeah, the sign of the monies. Well, a lot of people listen to us on the pod, but if you are just watching us on YouTube, or if you guys just listen to us on the pod, we're also here on YouTube. You can see the salute for Phi, which is S.
It's
one,
a two-fingered S.
No, it's a one-fingered S.
Oh,
one-fingered
yeah,
S,
one-fingered.
2 fingers down.
For a money symbol.
Phi bless you.
Yeah, we have too much time on our hands.
Yeah, we
Way too much time. Anyway, welcome back to Friday Feedback. What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be recapping the earlier episode from this week where we talked about insurance and understanding all the crucial aspects for both protecting your family and your assets.
That's good. I want to protect both those things.
Yeah, those things are somewhat important to me. So
They are quite important. Very importante. All right. Well, without further ado, I say we just jump right into it.
I say we jump into it. And first off, before we even do that, let's talk a little bit about the aversion that most people have to insurance, including myself, because I find that it's often too complex.
Yeah.
It feels like you're throwing away money because the ideal is that you don't have to use the insurance, which can get annoying to people.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't understand a lot about insurance, so they go to people to help purchase that insurance.
And they're scummy.
And now
Yeah, it's just-
and now it just makes the entire system feel like I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's so grimy.
Yeah, but
it can be grimy.
Yeah, but it's a necessary evil because when things go wrong, you are so happy that you have that insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hate to be in a place where it's like I don't have auto insurance, illegal, and I slammed the back of a car, also illegal, and now I get stuck with like a massive bill. That would suck.
Or worse, you like ruin someone's life and now like they're done. You have to think about that. That's on your conscience.
Yeah,
There's
just terrible.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. So what you're saying is basically, for the definition of insurance, is transferring risk from me, myself, to the insurance company.
That's exactly. That's a textbook definition.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah, and then the way that it works is that you pay premiums to transfer that risk to the insurance company.
Okay.
Yep. And then you have to also pay the deductible, given that you actually need to turn on that risk tool, saying that like, hey, I had a loss. This is how much I want to pay. This is my cost in order to make
Activate
the loss
it.
whole.
And like we said last time, premiums, deductibles, not the same thing. The premium is
The payment.
the payment. It's like your Netflix subscription. It's your subscription every month to keep it going. That is the premium, right? The deductible is to activate the account.
Yep. To say I had the loss. This is how much I'm, and then you can always change your deductible prices. But when you change the deductible, that will often change the premiums.
It's like the Netflix example you gave. It's like I have Netflix all month, right? But Mission Impossible is on. I want to watch this movie. I gotta pay my deductible to watch this movie.
Maybe it's like having like Apple TV, where you have Apple TV, but if you want to watch like specific things on
Yeah,
Apple
like
TV,
it's like a pay-per-view kind of thing.
yeah, or maybe like Amazon Prime might be a good example because you have Prime,
Amazon,
you have
that's a
Prime
good-
Video, but if you want to watch a bunch of things that aren't on Prime Video, you have to pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you guys understanding this? Does that make sense to you guys? I hope so. For those that like know nothing about insurance, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
The premium is the reoccurring monthly bill. The deductible is to use it.
Yep.
In the event of an accident or
The event of a loss.
a loss. Yes,
And
correct.
remember that the premium can be paid monthly,
Yep.
or it can even paid biannually or annually, and oftentimes that could be a way to lower the price of the premium if you're to pay in a one lump sum or 2 lump sums in the course of a year.
Definitely.
Depending on the insurance company.
Definitely. And we talked about there's not just one type of insurance. It's not like I know it's a bad term. There's not just like an umbrella, but there is
But
an
there is
umbrella.
an umbrella.
There is an umbrella. But you got homeowners insurance, you got renters insurance. If you rent, you got to have auto, health. You have to have auto. You don't have to have health, which is
But you kind of do have
you
to
kind
have
of do
health.
have to have health.
Now you do.
Yeah. Disability insurance, long term, health care. You can get insurance for everything. Like
Yep.
we talked about, I can insure your hair. Can I insure your hair?
Yeah, I think you can.
I, as a random person, can insure your hair?
Yes, you can.
That's wild. That's
You can have a different beneficiary. Yeah, it can get really weird. You can insure somebody else's life. There's something like key person insurance, where like a company can insure a key person in their company, saying if they die, then the company gets paid money.
So like let's say like if Apple put out a policy on Steve Jobs, basically.
Yep.
Okay, because he's integral or was.
He was integral.
Very integral.
Yeah, and then the goal with including FI and insurance is to eventually be able to self-insure. But obviously, that's not something that's easily done very, very quickly. It takes time to build up these assets. So in the meantime, as we're building up those assets, we need to have insurance in order to make up for these unexpected things in life. You know, we could have a fire, a flood, a car accident. Someone could die, and if you have no plan, then you plan to fail.
Bingo.
So that's where insurance can really come in with these with these things that can just happen to anyone any given day, but they're unexpected and unforeseen.
Yeah. So what insurance do I need?
Well, it's a huge one. We talked a lot about Lloyd's of London, and
Yep.
I gave you examples of Heidi Klum's legs.
Kiss his tongue.
Yeah, Gene Simmons' tongue.
Kiss the band or kiss the person.
No, Kiss is the band. Gene Simmons is the lead singer.
Okay.
Gene Simmons' tongue is insured by the Lloyd's.
So wild. Such a weird thing.
There's a guy, I can't remember, he's like some guy from like the 50s, an actor who insured his mustache.
That's so cool. Why do I think that's so cool?
I don't know.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, but that all just goes to say that just because you can insure things, it doesn't mean that you always should insure things. The Lloyd's of London have over 40,000 policies given to people to prevent against or to pay out in the event of a ghost haunting.
Yeah, and they have vampire policies.
Vampire, werewolf policies.
Let me tell you, I saw a vampire movie the other night, and let me tell you, I might pull out a policy, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was pretty spooky, man.
What was
a lot
the
of
movie?
jump scares. It was like 30 Days of Night.
30 Days of Night, that's a good
You
one.
seen that one?
Yeah, the one in Alaska?
Yeah,
that's
they made a second one.
Is it bad?
I haven't seen it.
The second ones are usually terrible.
Okay, it got worse ratings.
Yeah.
But I will say, I started watching it last night, but it got too late, so it was like 20 minutes in. It's not bad.
No, 30 Days of Night's fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fun movie.
They changed the actor Stella though, which is kind of
okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, I just probably didn't want to come back for the next one.
I don't know. I'm excited. You know what? Tonight I'm watching it.
There you go.
And tomorrow I'm getting vampire insurance.
But just,
Fi Guys.
But just Fi Guys finance.
Fi Guys.
But just because you can buy vampire insurance, you probably shouldn't buy vampire insurance.
Don't buy it.
But that kind of comes into you can buy insurance for your cell phone, for your TV, for literally anything you buy on Amazon. But just because you can, that doesn't mean that you should. You know, ideally, again, the goal with FI is to be able to reach a point that we're able to insure those things with money that we already have in our assets, in our emergency fund, in our crisis fund, in our bank account, ready to go. So if I was to break my cell phone right now, actually the other day when I was riding my bike with my dog, it fell out of my pocket and it hit the floor and I was like, no, not that, please. And I picked it up and there's a few like scratches on it, but it's so minuscule.
Dude, phones are tough these days.
Oh, dude, they're so tough.
I don't even wear a case on my phone.
Yeah.
And like literally yesterday, my phone was on the countertop and it's just like in slow motion. It was like, and like face down, just whack. And I was like, no, don't do this. I've been in this situation many times.
Yeah. This phone case does literally nothing. The only thing it does do is that it has a wallet component in there.
That's the only cool.
So that's the reason I use this one.
I saw something cool in there. I saw a little Southwest vibe in there.
We'll get in there. We'll get
in there.
We'll get that for one of the week.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
But yeah, just because you can insure things doesn't mean that you always should insure things. Ideally, you're going to be able to get to a point that if I was to break my cell phone, had it fallen out of my jacket yesterday and hit the ground and broke, I would have just bought another phone. I wouldn't have been happy about it. But what I would have been less happy about is had I paid $20, $40 a month in order to insure this thing, where that money could have been going towards investments, towards pursuing financial freedom.
Yeah, because rather than it suck money out of your checking account, you could have it deposit that extra money that you would have been using. You could just put that into your investments.
Rather than buying a service, I could be buying
Freedom.
Financial freedom. So that leads into the next question. So what kind of insurance should we get? And we've talked about quite a few that Dom just discussed. Homeowners insurance, renters insurance, auto insurance, which is required, health insurance, which
should be required.
It's pretty much required.
Basically required.
Disability insurance, long-term care insurance, and even umbrella policies. Then we kind of talked about ways to lower your costs of insurance. The ways I talked about that were bundling insurance with one provider.
House,
shopping around,
auto, stuff like that.
That's what we do. We insure our house and our auto and our car with one thing. Another one would be shopping around at least twice a year. for different insurance carriers and seeing who might have the better thing.
Do you think there's a time of year that's like better?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, I'm sure there's someone who like went in and they like really hacked it and they looked in there like, if you call on December 22nd at 2 p.m., like, that's what I found.
A few days before Christmas, their conscience is right in there in their face. They got to give you a good deal.
Yeah. But what I think is even better than that is rather than a good time is when you do call in, like be a good person, like be polite, be pleasurable. Those are the kind of people that people want to help out. And if you don't get the right answer or you don't get the answer that you like, you can always hang up and try again, try to get a different person.
Or politely end the call.
Yeah, but don't be like F you and then hang up. Like, be like, well, thank you so much, and then hang up. And if you really need like some good negotiation, read Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference,
dude. Yeah.
And then make a phone call.
Yeah, that's a cool book.
Yeah,
that's a great book. Oh, I love it. You know, it's kind of funny. This is a little side note. I follow him on Instagram, and his wife is gorgeous.
Oh, nice.
I saw it and I was like, damn, I gotta read that book again. Damn, he's using those negotiation tactics. Man, he's doing well for himself.
To Google,
Chris. I think it's his wife. It might be his girlfriend. I don't know. It
says it looks like he's gone through a few marriages. That her?
Right there.
That one.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for Chris Voss.
Good for Chris Voss. Because Chris Voss, I mean, he's got a nice voice.
Oh yeah, he's got
the
a
negotiator
good voice.
voice.
Yeah, he's got that slow, calm DJ voice. The voice that I can't master because I talk way too fast all the time.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
You're doing good.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing good.
Oh, you're doing good and just slowing down in talking.
God, I hated that so much.
Awful.
It reminded me of NPR.
It sounds awful.
And anytime I listen to NPR, I want to drive into a wall.
So you know me that I listen to podcasts at like 3 to 4 times speed constantly.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear like sometimes my podcast will reset and it'll reset to 1, and if I hear like Jocko's voice at 1 or like some of the other podcasts at 1 speed, I'm like, ew.
He takes the longest pauses too.
Yeah, well, he does a lot of he does a lot of breathing, which is probably good. I probably need to breathe more and take those pauses.
Welcome to the Jocko Podcast.
I think the concern is in my head, everyone talks at 4 times speed because I listen to them at 4 times speed. So I'm thinking everyone's processing at 4 times speed. But then when I talk, especially with my retired clients, I have to like very, very much be
slow it down,
conscious of I'm going too fast and I lost them.
Gosh. It'd be so. God, I wish you had a twin, and I would love to just watch you two just talk to each other.
Yeah,
just like
have our own little language of.
Exactly.
I remember as a kid, they were always telling me you need to slow down talking.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Huh. It was like a speech thing, like a speech pathologist. Like you need to stop talking so fast.
Interesting, because I know I took some speech classes in college, and they would always say like, if you're speaking really fast, it's usually because you're nervous, but I know you're not nervous.
No, I don't.
It's just who you are.
It's just who I am. It happens all the time, but it is important that when you are giving speeches, I think, to be able to inflect and slow down at points that are really important. Mm-hmm. And I can do that pretty well in like meetings and stuff like that, but when we're here on the pod, like I'm having fun. Like,
you're excited. We're at home.
Yeah, I'm not really
in the bat cave.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking about that, but it's something I'm working on. Yeah. But again, let's get back to insurance.
Let's get back.
So,
God, do we have to?
We have to.
Yeah, no, let's get back.
It's so boring. So we talked about homeowners insurance, and the reason you want to get homeowners insurance is to protect both your property and the belongings you have in the property. If there was a fire, a flood, someone was to break in. We also talked about renter's insurance. Just because you rent a house, it's still good to have insurance. Obviously, it's not going to protect the house itself, so someone can't steal the house, but it will protect your belongings in the house because the homeowner will have the homeowner's insurance, but their homeowner's insurance doesn't protect your stuff. It just covers the home itself. Talked about health insurance. I told you there really isn't a very good like easy way to do that. Hopefully you're employed with a place that offers health insurance. And if you are, I would definitely look at those plans, PPO, HMO. Mm-hmm. If you maybe have a high deductible plan, you have access to a HSA. If you want more about that, go to episode 6 about learning about different investment accounts. You can learn about the tax benefits of HSAs and the great triple tax advantages of them.
And we'll probably do a whole podcast on insurance.
We should, because it's important. It's complex.
It's one of the main reasons people go into bankruptcy and have financial troubles because they have medical debt. Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate.
It really is, and they're so hard to expunge.
Yeah.
But I can also talk about ways to even negotiate your medical bills too, because you can definitely
medical bills are negotiable. Mm-hmm. So wild.
The trick is you have to use
I had a
financial hardship. That's the word you have to use. This will put me into financial hardship.
I had a friend of mine who his wife had to go from one hospital to another, and they're saying like you have to take an ambulance, and like
That's like a $3,000 to $6,000.
Yeah, it was like $7,000, and she could walk. She was fine. Like she was fine. It's not like she was just like comatose. Like she was fine. But they had to take her in an ambulance. It was like $7,000, and he just like argued with them for like months and got it wiped out.
I agree with that. When I was a lifeguard, if you would backboard somebody, so put them on a backboard to get them out of the ocean or out of the pool, it was illegal for anyone, with the exception of an EMT or anyone, to undo it. So like once they're in the backboard, like the person can do it, like the person who's been backboarded can take themselves out, but like like if they're like, I'm fine, like I'll undo me, then you open yourself up to liability. So basically you have to wait for the EMT to show up, and the EMT could take them off the backboard.
So like the one where they have like the
head, full neck, and they're locked in on their sides to get them out of water.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty serious. So like if you're going to put someone like inline stabilization and like rip them out of a pool and you put them on a backboard, you need to be sure that you need to do that.
Yeah.
Because once they're in there,
they're in there, yeah.
They can get themselves out.
Yeah, it's not difficult to get yourself out.
But if they're unconscious, like no one can just show up and be like, take them out of that. You can't do it.
That's wild.
Yeah, the other person can do it, but they open themselves up to liability.
Interesting.
Then we talked about disability insurance and the importance of that, because oftentimes people get injured, and if the way that you make money is through working, you need some way to be able to bridge that gap until you're healthy enough to get back to work.
Absolutely.
And we talked about auto insurance, and actually, I told you about how I'm able to save money on my.
You have such a hack.
Yeah,
God, I love it. So for me, I there's 2 cars in my family. I live with my family, and my car we never drive. Literally never drive it. It's a nice car. It does its job. Gets me to A to B. I drive it maybe a few times. A year. I would say I probably drive it maybe.
It's not the car that you drive here in.
No. It's not the car I drive here.
Okay.
It's my Buick. So I don't drive it a lot.
I know you had a Buick.
You didn't even know I had a Buick. See, I don't drive it that often. Yeah, like for 6 months, I filled up 1 tank of gas. So I don't use it a lot.
Is it on a tickler? Like a battery tickler? You plug it into the wall?
No.
Okay, I have to show you.
What's a tickler?
I'll
That's another. It's another pod. I'm just gonna start using that. It's like anytime we're just like, it's another pod. You were saying you have a hack for this, because I don't drive it a lot, but I pay as if I drive it every day.
Yeah. So living here in Arizona, it gets really, really hot, and I have a truck and I have my motorcycle. So for half the year, I don't even go near my motorcycle because.
Why is that, Chris? Who dare calls me at this time?
Because if I was to go ahead and ride around the valley, I'd probably light on fire.
Yeah.
just by being in the sun.
It's a little bit toasty out.
It gets way too hot. So the way that I do it to save myself on insurance is I actually keep the minimum level of insurance that I need, which is really just liability insurance on the vehicle, and then I keep very high deductible comprehensive, because the worst thing that could happen for me for my motorcycle is that it falls over and gets damaged. It gets lit up in a fire, or someone steals it. It's in its own garage, but it can definitely happen. That's why I have like my cold plunge and stuff, so things could definitely fall.
Cold plunge spills over.
Yeah, cold plunge
catches on fire.
Yeah, the cold plunge lets all the water out. The water catches on fire. Everything's done.
Yep.
But so the way that I'm able to keep my insurance so low on my motorcycle, I only pay, and I showed Dom this, $77 a year for my insurance.
A year.
A year.
Oh, not a month.
A year.
Let me get this straight. $77 a month. Wrong. $77 a year. Correct.
Correct. And 6 cents.
Get out of my face.
It's so low that when I tell my insurance people, like, hey, just take the money automatically on my automatic payments, it's too low of an amount that it won't even trigger the automatic payments. So I have to go in every month and remind myself I have to pay this bill. Well, the way that I'm able to do that is that I keep the lowest amount of insurance for 6 months out of the year. And then when insurance comes back around, or when it's time to start riding the bike again, I go into my app and I go back and I turn on all the insurances that I want. So I'll go ahead and put on uninsured, underinsured motorists. I put on comprehensive. I increase liability insurance. And I do everything that I need to. And then from the time that I do that, they send me an email saying, at midnight tonight, this policy will go into effect. So then I'll keep that on for a month, a week.
However long you want it.
However long I want it to. And then I'll be paying that amount, which could be upwards of $400 a year, $500 a year, $600 a year, depending on how crazy I want to go with the coverage. And then whenever I'm done with that, I turn it back down to $99 a year.
For less coverage because you're not driving.
Yep. So for an example, what I do most years, or most of the time, is I only ride my bike like once a week.
Motorcycle.
My motorcycle, like for like a week out of a month. So what I'll do for that month is normally $6 for the insurance. So for 1 week, I'll turn it on to have like $500 worth of insurance. So rather than paying $6 at the end of the month, my insurance cost is like $21.
That's so wild, dude. That is the best hack I've ever seen. And you just go into your app where you have your and you just change your policy.
Yep, I just go and I go to coverage, and then
Yeah.
I go to coverage, and then it shows what you currently have, and then you can go in there and the little drop down bars, and it says like select new coverage. I select new coverage. You know, the person that actually taught me how to do this was the insurance person through the company that I'm currently with for my motorcycle. Because I was telling her what I wanted to maybe do was just use non-use. Because you can also say like the car is non-used, but I do use the car. So what they said is what you could do is just basically keep zero insurance on it, or like, you know, state requirement insurance, and then just turn it on whenever you need to. So the insurance company had okayed it by telling me that.
That's the greatest hack I've ever heard.
It's a good one.
That might be more applicable to my life, definitely is, than the companion pass.
Really?
I think for
right
now.
One day you'll have a partner that you'll want to travel the world with.
Well, we'll companion pass all over.
Yeah, but that's what I usually do. I did it with my truck too. When I was at one of my last jobs, they actually gave me a company car to drive around with to meet with clients. So I did that with the truck, and the truck just sat inside the garage for an entire year.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. I love that one. Where are we at?
We should move on to probably life insurance, because we talked about some other insurance.
Yeah.
It's time to move on to there. So life insurance, the reason that we have life insurance is to shield your family from financial struggles in order to supplement your income if you were to pass for any reason. So then we talked about the difference in that between term and whole life policies. Here at the Fi Guys and myself for Mons on Wealth, I recommend term policies rather than whole life. And the reason I recommend that is term policies are often 5 to 10 times cheaper than a whole life policy, because the way insurance works is the law of large numbers. So 90 to 95% of term insurance will not pay out, meaning that you will not die within that term period. But if you have a whole life policy, there's a 100% chance that you will die one day.
Yeah.
So that's why they have to charge you more money in order to have that policy in place, because they know at some point they will have to pay it out. So what I recommend is called term and invest the difference. So buy term policy and then invest the difference that you would have paid on whole policy into your investment accounts. That's what's going to make you some buku bucks.
Makes more sense. Plus the money's, you can actually access it.
But you have full access to the money rather than going like you get this cash value thing, and it gets really complex, and there's a lot of brokers out there that'll try to sell whole life insurance.
Some people love the whole life and they use it as a infinite. You call it infinite bank.
Infinite banking.
You've heard a lot of stuff about it. I need to do more research about it, but some people love it. Some people despise it.
Yeah, maybe at some point we can do a debate on it where you can come
I would
in
love that.
as the person who is infinite banker, and I'll become the person who is
It's
totally
against it.
against
For and against it. I love that.
Because currently I'm always open to new information,
Always.
but at this point everything I've looked at to try to figure it out hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked out.
Yeah, remember that life insurance isn't there to make you rich. Life insurance is there to, or all insurance isn't there to make you rich. It's to make you whole. It's to get you back to where you were prior to the loss.
I love that.
And then after that, we talked about term policies, and whenever you purchase a term, you purchase it for a number of years. So saying that I have life insurance policy through this term for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 40, 50 years.
Yep.
So it's very important to determine at what level or what length of time do I need this term for. And what I usually say, it's kind of wide ranging or wide sweeping, is as long as there are people who are dependent on your income, you should have term policy. So if you have kids until they reach the age of 18, 20, 22, whatever age you're planning on kicking them out of the house, you should probably get it there. Or if your spouse is dependent on your income, then it's probably going to be worth having it indefinitely.
Absolutely. And leaving your family with a burden after you've died,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Yeah, because you've already died. They're already going through the toughest thing in their life. The worst thing that they have to now deal with is also how are we going to pay for next month's bills because he or she was bringing in all the income.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to be the man in life, you should be the man in death too. Or the woman, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you're going to be the leader. You got to be good for there. And then, there's the role of financial independence.
Yes.
And life insurance. Again, the goal is to be able to self-insure so that we have enough money that even if we were to pass, we have passive investments that are still able to take care of our family without it. So at that point, we could also honestly turn off the term insurance. But again, that takes a long time for people to reach. And term insurance is something you can buy right now that can give you that peace of mind if the worst was to happen.
Yeah.
And that's, again, what insurance is for. So whole life, or term life, and invest the difference.
I like it. I like that. So what else are we talking about?
Then we talked about just a few other insurance types, and the number one was umbrella insurance, which you touched upon previously, which just protects additional protection for your home and your auto. And I typically recommend not getting this or even looking into it until you have a net worth of over $1 million.
Yeah, because you were saying that like once you have $1 million, sizable portion of cash, more people like to sue you.
Yeah.
And
that's when people start tripping on your stuff.
It's like those stairs over there, man. They're kind of I don't know. No, but that's the umbrella is more protection rather than saying like, well, I have X amount of dollars in insurance on my home. I want to just increase that. It's like, no, this increases everything.
It's another policy that just sits on top of those policies. It acts as a contingent in case those policies weren't enough. It could come in and be secondary.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And the final one we talked about was annuities.
Yes.
And then annuities are used as guaranteed income, much like Social Security or a pension. So basically,
you said they weren't investments, though, right?
Well, they're marketed as investments, but again, like they have a growth component to it. But for me, like the way I look at it is, you use an annuity in order to guarantee income. You shouldn't use annuity as an investment. If you want to invest money, just go with an advisor. Like use an advisor to manage your money, or do some of the things that we have. Most of the time where I see annuities used as investments is because the person who is selling it is a broker who cannot manage money. So the only way that they can make money is by selling to you this as an investment.
Okay.
Now the way that annuities typically work is that they have something where they can't drop down below a certain limit.
Okay.
But you can also just usually do that through having bonds or just having a good mix of investments.
Definitely. So what you're saying is like I should definitely talk to a financial advisor before making any crazy investments.
Or a fiduciary advisor would probably be even more important than that. Make sure that you're talking with someone who's a fiduciary in every aspect of their business if you are thinking about getting an annuity.
And that's the key. They can be a fiduciary in one part of their business, but not in the whole part.
Yep, and that's typically what's called dual registration. So you're a fiduciary in maybe managing the money portion, but when it comes to selling an annuity or life insurance, something that you might not be acting as a fiduciary there. That would be up to the client to know that and ask that question.
Gotcha. It's like me cooking meals for my family and calling myself a chef. It's like I don't have a restaurant, so I'm not really a chef, but I'm a cook.
Okay.
Kinda. It's like I can call
that was off the dome.
Whatever. We'll send it. Just leave it for the next pod.
Yeah, but I always look at people's incentives. So if someone can make 5 to 10% commission for selling you a product, then they have a pretty good incentive to do that.
Yeah. They got some skin in the game.
They got some skin in the game. Why not find someone who has skin in the game, but from a different standpoint, from growing your wealth? That's how they win.
You want someone who's looking out for your best interest.
You want someone who's incentivized the same way you are.
Yes, absolutely.
And then in our final part, we talked about creating a legacy drive.
I thought this one was really creative.
Legacy document.
This one was creative. I'd never heard about this till you told me about it.
Good.
And I thought it was super interesting. Because it's like, say I die, right? No one can access my phone. No one, unless I'm like on the table and they use the Face ID and they get me.
Yeah, but they cut off your thumb and take it home.
Yeah, right.
Wear like a lanyard.
Man. So diabolical. Yeah, damn. They could do that too. Put on a little keychain.
Yep.
Damn. So let's talk about the legacy drive.
Yeah, legacy drive, legacy document. But I know that it's really uncomfortable to talk about death, and that's why so many people put off estate planning. They put off legacy planning. They put it off because it's not a fun discussion. It's just like talking about finances. It's not fun. That's why people usually don't end up they're not clamoring at the door to talk to financial advisors and estate attorneys.
Yeah, true.
Because they're not fun discussions. I try to make it as fun as I possibly can, but a lot of times it's not fun. So if you don't plan, or what's your mom's thing?
Mom always says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
And that is what it's like when you're talking about death and dying. So what I recommend doing is having a legacy document. So what I typically use is I use a thumb drive, and I keep that thumb drive in my safe. On that thumb drive are my last will and testament. It has my trust in there. It has all of my passwords to all of my information in there. And then it has things that I want my wife to know about the finances if I was to pass away. So you can do that. You can do it, put it in a Google Drive. You put it in a thumb drive. You can put it really anywhere you want. Just make sure it's safe and secure, especially if you're going to be keeping your passwords on there.
Yeah.
You could also use a password manager like LastPass, and then just keep that one master password in the drive.
Yeah.
And if you like writing things out and having a hard place to put it, there's a book on Amazon called I'm Dead Now What, where you can actually write in all the information. Then you have to go back and change it all the time. But what you really want to do is make a seamless transition from when you pass for your family to be able to pick up what's going on and just keep on running with it because you planned ahead of time and you set them up for that. And if you really need to, I always recommend maybe meeting with a qualified estate attorney in your state in order to talk about ways to avoid probate. Because if you were to pass away, the state has a way of going about distributing your things to your loved ones or back to themselves as the state, but you might disagree with how the state wants to do it. So there's a way that it's going to happen, but stepping in front of it, actually putting a plan together, will avoid your family having to go through a really difficult time. And that's something that we'll maybe probably talk about in a future pod, the full extent of legacy planning and the importance of that.
And getting trusts.
Yeah, getting a trust, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So getting on with the next part of the episode, a little 5 Friday feedback.
My favorite part of the week. Well, I like win of the week too. I like them both.
Win of the week is great, but we like hearing from you guys. Knowing that we're like actually posting and people are taking in the knowledge, taking it in, enjoying it, learning from it. That's so huge.
Yeah.
And I love when they ask for help too.
I do. I love when they ask for help. And again, I'm just going to ask, please make sure that you be descriptive in your guys' descriptions or what you guys are asking. We only select one a week and we try to keep it on point as what we're talking about. But if you guys just ask a very simple question, like, should I do a traditional or a Roth? I can't give you an answer.
Yeah, it's like,
I can't give you an answer there. But if you give me the more information you give me, the more information I can give you. Mm-hmm. So I say we jump into it. I'm going to take notes like I normally do, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty, let's do it. Is there anything I need to know about denying myself as someone's life insurance beneficiary?
Interesting.
That is very strange. I'd never hear that. Usually people they want
yeah, I want that money.
I want that monies. Not this one though.
Not this one.
Not this one. All right.
Let's see why. Well, let's why. I'll be taking my notes like normal.
All right, let's do this. Howdy, Fi guys. I need some advice and guidance regarding a challenging situation I find myself in. Recently, my ex-boyfriend, a firefighter paramedic, tragically passed away. To my surprise, I discovered that I am listed as the beneficiary of his life insurance policy. We haven't been together since 2019, and I believe it was an oversight on his part, as I've been designated as the beneficiary since 2015. Okay, so they're not together. They haven't been together since 2019.
Yeah. So okay. We've been getting a lot of really heavy.
Yeah, this one's heavy.
Feedbacks.
This one's heavy. I'm gonna keep it positive. Given the circumstances, I wanted to transfer the entirety of these assets to his grieving parents, who have shouldered the financial burden of his services and burial expenses. I'm currently stationed in Germany with the military, but as I am preparing to fly home for the funeral, I am eager to expedite the process to assist his parents quickly. I contacted a union representative from the fire department where he worked, and they suggested that the transfer could be facilitated through email. However, I am not well versed in this stuff, and I wanted to ensure that this process is carried out correctly. Specifically, I would appreciate your expertise in advising me on potential pitfalls to avoid. I'm concerned about the possibility of any other outstanding debts he may have and that they might be passed on to her.
Okay.
I also want to be sure I can't be sued for taking the money briefly and giving it to his parents, since I don't think it was meant for the funds to be left for me. Gotcha. Additionally, I want to minimize any tax implications and may arise. That's real. You know what? That's really true. That's really true. I want to minimize any tax implications that may arise from taking the funds and the transfer. Oof. This period has been incredibly difficult for me, and I can only imagine the pain the family is going through. My intention is to assist in any way possible to ensure that the financial aspects are handled with care. Any insights or guidance that can provide on this matter would be incredibly valuable. Sincerely, a soldier in grief with an ex's money to bear, seeking guidance to transfer to his family with the utmost care. Interesting. The tax implications. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, there's a lot here. So it sounds like there's really 3 questions
Gotcha.
that they're asking about. Is first, they want to make sure that they can't assume his debts for taking on the life insurance. They also want to make sure that they can't be sued for taking the money. And then the final thing is what do the taxes mean? And how do I do that? Maybe there's 4 questions. How do I do this in the best way? What things do I need to be aware of?
Definitely.
So first off, to our viewer, I really first want to say, like, sorry for your loss. I know that you and this ex was broken up for, it sounds like a while now, about 4 years, but you said that he designated you as the beneficiary in 2015, and then you guys broke up in 2019. So you were at least together for 4 years. I'm assuming even longer than that.
Even longer, yeah.
So even if you guys weren't together, the fact that you're flying back for his funeral means that this can't be easy.
No.
So, just given the emotional toll of the situation, just maybe consider seeking emotional support from your friends, family, or even a counselor through the military. Dealing with financial matters during these challenging times can really be overwhelming. So it's important to lean on a support system during these times. I see these kind of things a lot, and people make bad decisions when they're already with their backs against the wall and stuff happens. So it's really important to take a minute, breathe, talk to somebody if you need that. I'm a big proponent of counseling if that's something that you feel that you need, and those services are available to you through the military, which is good too. There's definitely has been a stigma in the past about going through that with the military, but I'm really glad to say that is going away.
That's good.
It's important. Like you've got to focus on yourself. You've got to be mentally strong in order to help people.
Getting stronger can be in the gym. It can be with a therapist. It can be talking with loved ones. There's a lot of ways to heal and get stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having that support system is important. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is you're a really good person.
Yeah. Some people just take the money and run.
Thank you. Thank you for being a good person. That's awesome. Like I said, I used to work with an estate planner, and they used to say that money was often thicker than blood. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately, when someone passes away, you start to see all the aunts and uncles and all the cousins, and people start coming out of the woodworks trying to get the money. People that you never talk to. Like, look about when Prince died, Prince the singer. Like, everybody and their mom started making claims that Prince owed them money.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really cool that you have this money coming to you, and rather than saying, like, I deserve this money because I dated him for 4 years or whatever, you're saying, how can I give back and how can I help his family who is really going through it, who has it worse.
Yeah. I can think of a few exes that would say if I'd passed away, they got the money, they'd be like, thanks, Dom.
Yeah, they probably would. Yeah, me too. And they probably would never call my wife or anything like that. They'd be like, sweet.
Yeah, exactly. And for someone to have the knowledge, the know-how, the key for here is like the knowledge, first off.
How do you do it?
Yeah, because like the tax implications of, I don't know what the benefit was, but that could put you in a whole nother tax bracket that you're not prepared for.
We'll talk about that.
Go for it.
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you.
Drop some knowledge on me.
So the first thing is that his debt will not transfer to you in any way, shape, or form just because you take the money from his life insurance policy.
That's good.
So you're good there. You guys have been broken up for 4 years. I'm assuming you're not on any of his things. Like if you were on maybe on a house deed or like on a bank. That you guys co-signed a car, then that could transfer to you. But I'm assuming that you guys like fully separated, so you're good there. Just because you take the life insurance policy, his debts are not going to come to you.
Definitely something to check on, though.
Yeah,
because if he might have forgot to change this one, there's a chance that there might be another hiding in the shadows.
Definitely things to look into. Say, hey, have I ever co-signed anything with him before we broke up? And look into those. That's definitely a good point. I'm hoping that there isn't. Number two, you were actually named as the primary beneficiary, meaning that the funds are rightfully yours. So legally, you have no ground for lawsuit of having that money taken from you. So you can't take the money. It doesn't sound like you want it. You want to give it to the parents, which is awesome and super commendable. But legally, like you can get sued for anything, but this wouldn't hold up in court saying like he didn't mean to leave it to me. This happens all the time, and you can try to sue people, but you're not going to win. That just because you got money because someone messed up. Here's the big thing to Dom's point. What about the taxes? So life insurance and insurance in general does not make you rich, but it does make you whole. And what I mean by that is that life insurance proceeds are not taxed.
Interesting.
So I don't know how much this policy was worth, but whatever that policy is worth, you get all that money tax-free. Same with car insurance payouts or anything like that. You get that money tax-free. You don't have to pay any taxes on it.
It's good to know.
So recipients of life insurance are not taxed. But what I would recommend is see if your ex had any contingent beneficiaries listed on the policy. Ideally, his mom or his dad. And it would be really easy to refuse the funds, and then it would pass on to the contingent beneficiary. If that's not possible, of course, and you are the only person, then you're going to have to take the funds and then pass them on, or you could completely refuse it, but then it's going to go through the probate process, which I'm thinking you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
In order just to get the money to his parents fast. You say that you want to expedite the process. Putting them through probate would not expedite the process at all. Here in Arizona, the probate process is typically 12 to 18 months.
It's a long time.
Yeah, here in Arizona at least, there's 5 probate judges for the entire state.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's 5 people?
Yep.
That divvy up.
Do all the stuff.
Let's continue.
So it's really easy to refuse funds. My next point would probably be communicate with his parents. Reach out to your ex-boyfriend's parents. Obviously, you want to express your condolences. Inform them about the situation that you found yourself in and that you want to transfer the assets to them. You just want to make sure that you're being transparent and you're collaborating with them in the process. I'm sure it's going to mean a lot to them that you're going to, I'm sure they know you, like you were with them for 4 years. So I think that would just be amazing. And you also want to make sure that they're aware that this money is going to be coming and that you're the one listed, because you don't want them being like having animosity towards you or like, going crazy on like Facebook about how you're stealing the money when that's not your intention at all. So communicate with them. And then let's see here. So just make sure that you want to give the money to them. And that's again, given that they didn't have a contingent beneficiary. If not, and you have to take the money, all you have to do is simply gift it to the parents. So the parents can receive the money. Again, you weren't taxed on it, so they won't be taxed on it. But there is something that you have to do, which I'm glad you asked. You have to fill out a Form 709 through the IRS. I believe currently the gift tax exemption is anything under $17,000 for the year of 2023. So not sure how much money this is, but it doesn't really matter. You just have to just fill out that Form 709 and then give details around the gift, saying that it was life insurance. And then the cost shouldn't be nothing to you and nothing to the parents, given that the form is reported correctly. And at that point, maybe talking to a CPA would probably be good here. Mm-hmm. And then my last point is just document everything. Keep records of all the communication, all the documents, the forms, the transcripts related to all of this asset transfer. These documentations may be helpful in the future for references or potential tax-related queries that could come up in case you maybe filed the form wrong. Consider talking to a CPA for that form, or you can even look into a probate attorney that could help out with this process as well in the state that you guys are in. And then again, thank you so much for your service. Mm-hmm, and definitely. We're sending you a big hug from Arizona. Good luck on your flight back from Germany. I know that's a long one.
She's probably still on the flight.
Probably.
Probably still on the flight. That's a good woman.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a solid woman.
Yeah, that's really, really cool that she's willing to do that and help out the parents.
Definitely.
But I think this really brings in the importance of keeping up with your insurance policies. Mm-hmm. Once a year I do with my clients at the end of every year is we look over all the policies. We make sure the beneficiaries are correct. Nothing's changed. Do you still love your son? Do you want to keep? You want him to get 50%?
Yeah.
Those are things that you need to make sure you check on. Because like I talked about, and thankfully this person is a good person. They want to give the money back because they realize that mm-hmm. he made a mistake.
Yeah.
But she would be fully in her legal right to just take all the money, even if the parents were like destitute and like couldn't figure it out. Just be like, sorry, deuces, this is mine.
Yeah.
She has the right to do that, and there really is nothing that anyone can do about it.
Yeah. Like I said, solid woman.
Solid. That's really
That's
really
a
cool.
noble. That's pretty noble.
No, that's super noble. Like that's taking ownership of your life. That's awesome. Like there's nothing more that I could ask for right there.
And she's got some good karma coming her way.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's waiting, and it's going to come out. If you're a good person, it comes back to you. Maybe not in the time that you want, but it does.
Yeah. I say we get on to the win of the week. You have a great win of the week, so great that it's just going to cover me for this week, I think. Yeah?
You don't want to give a win of the week?
I don't have a win of the week, but Chris's win of the week is worth it. What do you got for us?
So, last week we did one on tax. We did our podcast on taxes. Mm-hmm. So that prompted me that I probably need to call my CPA and do some end of the year tax planning as well. So in discussing with him, he said that, hey, Chris, you should probably prepay some more taxes this year. So what I had to do is pay $2,000 towards taxes in the IRS. So I actually followed my same 5 Friday feedback, and I pay taxes to the IRS too.
Yeah.
So in paying that extra $2,000 to the IRS, that actually pushed me over the limit for my new credit card that I have, which is my Southwest Rapid Rewards Business Premier or Performance Card. And that passed me over the limit that I needed to get 80,000 points deposited into my account. With those 80,000 points, it actually triggered Companion Pass for 2024, meaning that all of next year, my wife gets to fly for free anywhere that I fly.
It's pretty sweet.
That is super sweet.
It's pretty rad.
So, in addition to that, the moment that I got the email saying you have Companion Pass, my wife and I have a bunch of trips planned for next year. So we went and we booked a bunch of flights last night.
Did you really?
Yeah, we booked a lot of flights.
Dude.
So next
Nice.
we booked flights to Mexico, flights to Dallas, flights to Miami and St. Thomas, and we even booked some flights to Japan. Obviously, Southwest doesn't fly to Japan, so we couldn't. This isn't going to come into effect for those, but it's going to come into effect for a lot. So
St. Thomas is great.
yeah.
I love St. Thomas.
Not only did I get Companion Pass, but I also got the 80,000 points that it gave me, so I got double win there. But
Nice.
Last night we spent $229.82 to buy all the flights to Mexico, Dallas, and Miami. That's because I used the 80,000 points that I got. And then we saved $2,400 in fees and costs
What?
because my wife flew for free and we used points to cover the rest of those flights.
Dude, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
Mexico, Dallas, Miami, flights all the way out there and back. All covered with the points. The only price you had to pay was the $229.
Yep, for fees and
leftover?
taxes. Because every time you fly with Southwest, you still have to pay for the taxes and fees, which is $5.20. When you fly internationally, it's more than that. It's like $100 or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then that kind of prompted me to go ahead and look into all the things that we have this next year.
Yeah.
So like I said, next year we're flying to Bora Bora, Japan, St. Thomas, Mexico twice, and a few other places. In next year's travel, we've just calculated it last night that through Southwest flights, through points, hotels, booking, through Costco for Bora Bora, we've actually saved $2,900 in costs by credit card hacking, by travel rewards hacking, and by being mindful of the way that we're going to do it and actually having some planning with purpose. So we've saved almost $13,000, which prompted my wife to immediately go into girl math mode and say, well, if we save $13,000, how can I immediately spend $13,000? Oh, no. Which luckily I talked her down from the ledge. And
That's good. That's good.
we're not going to be there.
Me there.
And another cool thing is, I think a lot of people have asked, like, what about your credit score? Doesn't it get screwed up doing all these credit cards? And what's that credit score say right there?
300? No, I was kidding. 808.
Yeah.
$808. 808 points.
Yeah, 808 points. So that's with all the credit card hacking that I do, all the stuff. Credit score is still an 808 according to CreditWise.
And for the people that don't know, 300 is the bottom, 850 is the top. Chris has an 808.
808.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, pretty darn good. 808 is also Hawaii's zip code or area code for phones. So
Oh, cool. Oh, that's nice.
that's kind of cool.
That's kind of
So I'll try to keep it edited
Yeah,
as
I like
long as
it.
I possibly
I like
can.
that.
But
I
yeah,
love that.
so I got Southwest Companion Pass for all of 2024. So anytime me and my wife fly through Southwest, we'll get to go. And
That's awesome.
you know, after doing this, what I want to do is I want to do a full like Southwest
100%.
Companion Pass. So I'm gonna put it as a declaration as soon as we finish the FI crash course. I think we have like one or two more episodes. We'll do a thing fully dedicated to Southwest and earning the Southwest Companion Pass. I will teach you the intricacies of how to not only earn the Southwest Companion Pass pretty easily, but also how to get it for 2 whole years
Perfect.
with some strategy and some thought behind it.
I like that. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna be a
love
fun
it.
one.
I love it. Well, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's Five Friday feedback. We sure did.
I did.
We love it.
This is my favorite part
This
of
is our
the
favorite part. Yeah, we love it. But yeah, guys, remember the fee for the show. Tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend if you found any value today, or you liked, listened, laughed, whatever. Just please let us people know. If you guys want to be featured on Five Friday Feedback, you can always email us at thefiguysvideopodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to thefiguys.com. On the top tab, there's feedback, and you can put your question right there. Again, more detail, the better. That way I can be able to be more helpful to you.
Absolutely. With that being said, I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, guys. Later.
Peace.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this